is actually a science reason. So some of these things you see today might be equations that you've seen before in science class. And sometimes we have formulas like you might have seen distance equals rate times time, where sometimes we want to know what the distance is, but sometimes we want to know what the rate is, and sometimes we want to know what the time is. And so we are going to sometimes use this concept today to solve for the quantity we want to find. And so often we'll see this in science class. Sometimes you'll also see it in geometry formulas as well. Okay. So we're going to do just a whole lot of these, a whole bunch of them. So, number one. Notice there's something in the parentheses. Max, I'm going to have you move up here for notes right now, because it's too distracting back there, I think. The first thing you notice is there's a letter, and that because there's lots of letters, and the letters stand for something, but in parentheses is the letter I want you to solve for. Solve for means we're going to try to get it alone. What do you guys think if it's P equals I times R times T, how would I get T alone? What can I divide off? Can I divide off I and R? And if I do it to one side, I should do it to the other side. Okay. So the way we undo the multiplication is we're going to divide. Okay, now let's rewrite it. On the left side, I have P divided by IR. And then on the right side I have T. So before, do you see how P was alone? Yeah. And that would be used if I wanted to find P in the formula. I think this one's a science one. I think it's like resistance. Have you guys seen IR? No? Okay. And then this one is solved for T if I wanted to figure out what T is. Okay, let's go over number two. Number two is actually a geometry one. Does anybody know what it is? Perimeter equals 2 times the length plus width. Okay, so for this one, there are a couple things we could do. First, you could distribute if you wanted and do it that way. But I'm going to do this. Do you see how it's L plus W in the grouping symbol? Remember, when we solve things, we actually reverse the order of operations. So we're going to undo that parentheses last. First, I need to undo this 2 on the outside. Anybody know how to do that? Good. Divide both sides by 2. Let's do that. So now I have P over 2 equals L plus W. All right. So now this is addition, isn't it? If I wanted to get W alone, how would I undo addition? Subtraction. Very nice. So I write it like this, but I can't put them together. I just write P divided by 2 minus L equals W. So if let's say I knew the perimeter and I knew the length, this is how I would find the width. I take the perimeter divided by 2 and subtract the length. All right, next one. Number 3, what if I asked you to, this is an algebra, this is a line, but what if I asked you to solve for x? What do you think you would do first? Cody? Okay, what if you were solving the equation? You would add 6, right? You're going to do the same thing, but we're going to just do it with a y instead, so we're not going to get a number. You would add 6. So I have y plus 6 equals 5x. Now, yep, and it's not going to look pretty. We're going to divide both sides by 5. So I divide this side by 5. and I divide that side by 5, and that's what it looks like. Y plus 6 over 5 equals X. All right. Let's take a look at the next one. Once again, these ones are lines. So I have 2x minus 3y equals 8, and now I want to solve for y. Well, I'm going to just point out something to you. This is a minus, it's like plus and negative 3y. So the 2x isn't negative, the 2x is positive. How would I move 2x to the other side? Subtract it. Yep, subtract it. So now what I have left is negative 3y equals 8 minus 2x, or you could write negative 2x plus 8 if you'd rather do that. All right, now what would I do? I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3. Now, here's the deal, guys. You can leave it like this if you want, or when you divide a whole group of things by 3, I'm going to write this. That's the same thing as doing 8 divided by negative 3 plus negative 2 divided by negative 3, so that would be 2/3 x. I'm writing an or there because you don't have to do that, but you could. Later on when we do lines, we are going to do that because this is slope and y-intercept. But at this point, as long as you know to subtract and divide. Okay, now, once again, I'm going to put a parenthesis around this x plus y up there, because that's a grouping symbol, and I have to do that last. I cannot subtract y first, because it's in a group. Okay? If there's a grouping symbol, you got to do that last. Just like the grouping symbol here, we did that one last. Okay. So how do you think I undo a divided by 3, Caitlin? Very good. So I am going to multiply both sides by 3. So I have a 3 on top and bottom. Those are going to cancel. So I have now x plus y equals 15. Okay. Remember, this says I'm solving for x, okay? So, what do you think?
Subtract y.
Nice. We're going to subtract y from both sides. So now I have x equals 15 minus y. Okay. Can you guys try, we've done several now, right? Can you try 6 on your own? Just try it. So you're trying to get b alone? This is actually just a one-stepper. This is plus mx, so we're actually going to subtract mx from both sides. So we have y minus mx equals b. Okay. Would you try to do number 10 on your own? 10 is also a geometry formula. What do you think on that one, Clay? What did you do? You divided by 4 and pi. Good. So what's left then, and I just wanted r squared, is r squared equals a divided by 4 pi. Very nice. Okay. So would you try number 9 on your own if you haven't yet? Did you guys divide by W and H? By the way, this is V equals L times W times H. Does anybody know what that formula is? Volume of a box, length times width times height. Except now, oopsies, what's my mistake? That solves for length now. So if you wanted to find the length and you knew the volume, you would do volume divided by the width and the height to find the length. So that's what we're doing here. And you might kind of sort of recognize this. This is actually the area of a sphere, okay? It's 4 times pi times the radius squared. Like, in other words, you know, if you had one of those big bouncy balls, you know, the 4 square balls, and you wanted the surface area, how much material, that would find that for you, okay? And so let's say I knew the area and I wanted to figure out what the radius was, the radius squared, that's what I'd use. Alright, what are you thinking on 7? Do you think you can do that? Try it a minute. If you feel comfortable, I'll talk about it in 30 seconds. Alright, to get y alone, you would first undo the addition. Is that what you did, Clay? Did you do minus ax?
Yep.
Good. So now we have by equals c minus ax. Then, very nice, divide by b. So y equals c minus ax all divided by b.
Let's go.
So this actually is an standard form for a line. This would convert it to slope intercept. We are going to be doing this later on, except we're going to have numbers in for a, b, and c. But you're going to still have x and y. You'll still have to figure out how to get y alone. And then there's this. This is actually area of a trapezoid. 1/2. You know what a trapezoid is? Where it's got like 2 different heights, but they're different lengths. So this is the formula for area of a trapezoid, and I want to solve for b. Where do you notice b is? Yeah, so we're gonna worry about in the parentheses last. Let's get rid of the stuff in front. Ooh, fractions. We can't divide by 1/2. We need to multiply by the reciprocal. Good. First, would you multiply both sides by 2? I gotta squeeze it in up here. No, I'm not. I'm going to rewrite it because I'm going to leave some space. I'm going to multiply by 2 over here, and I'm going to multiply by 2 over here. What's 2 times 1/2? 1. So it's gone. So now I have 2a equals 1h. Okay. Alright, I'm not doing the parentheses yet. I still have something in front of that parentheses I need to get rid of. Anybody know how? Divide. It's h times that parentheses, so we're going to divide by h. Okay. So now I have 2a over h equals b plus c. Finally, finally, finally. I'm trying to get b alone, so I would subtract c. So my final equation would be 2a over h minus c equals c.